This is what rock bottom looks like. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson has fallen off. That's right, you heard it here first at Third Eye Global. We're bringing you the news that the rest of the internet, quite frankly, can't handle. Now, I've been calling out The Rock for years, mainly because he's, dare I say it, I mean, we all know, a fake natty. Don't buy it. Don't believe his story whatsoever. He also lies about eating In-N-Out Burger for some reason. Can't keep his story straight. If you're willing to lie about that, what else are you willing to lie about and bend the truth over?
The thing I've learned from this series is that just like people, Hollywood meltdowns come in all different shapes and sizes. On the one hand, there's the spectacular implosions of Joss
What a beautiful Foyd.
Whedon and Brie Larson, who reached the height of fame and success only to fall from grace in dramatic fashion. On the other hand, there's the Rachel Zeglers of the world, whose egos far outshine their talents and accomplishments, killing their careers before they even get off the ground. But there's another kind of crash and burn, dear viewer, a kind of slow-motion train wreck where you can see the pieces falling off even as it keeps ploughing forwards until finally the whole thing derails and comes crashing to a halt. Which brings me neatly along to the story of Dwayne Douglas Johnson, better known as The Rock, a man who once dominated the box.
I think younger generations, mainly Zoomers, just don't buy the wholesome Chungus persona. No one can be that silly Billy. He's just like the token muscle that is just morally perfect in every single movie, interview, and appearance.
Office with the same intensity as he ruled the wrestling ring, possibly the biggest and most marketable celebrity on the planet who seemed to be everywhere, doing everything and beloved by everyone. A man who's constantly up.
It's a man who has stripped himself to be perfectly marketable, but in doing that, you lose any sense of self. I don't know who The Rock is. You don't know who The Rock is. I don't think anyone knows who The Rock is. He's an amalgamation of Hollywood manifest.
Beat larger-than-life persona masked a hidden world of greed, ego, lies, and hubris. A man so addicted to success and fame that it ended up consuming him. A man for whom the world itself was simply not enough. So join me for another episode of Crash and Burn as I tell you the Dwayne Johnson story. Dwayne Douglas Johnson was born in
He's a brand, no longer possessing a soul.
California in 1972.
Dude, his dad is natty. I mean, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. The pebble doesn't fall from the stone.
The son of wrestling legend Rocky Johnson. And he wasn't the only wrestler in the family. His uncle,
There is no Dwayne Johnson, only The Rock. I want to see a Patrick Bateman morning routine with an inner monologue that is sociopath coded of his life.
adopted grandfather and even his grandmother were all in the business, and it seemed like Dwayne was destined to follow them. He had different ideas though, and got into pro football instead. I mean, the guy was an absolute fucking unit, 6'5" and 250.
He's not 6'5". That is a wrestler's height. That is fantasy land.
50 pounds at like 18 years old, so who can blame him? He was a good athlete for sure, but he never quite reached the big time in football and finally got cut loose after 4 years in the sport. With no high school qualifications and not many other options, he turned instead to wrestling, used his family connections to fast track his way into the business, and made his debut in the WWE the following year, wrestling under the name Rocky Maivia. And on paper at least it seemed like a great idea. His dad had been a fan favourite, he was young and athletic.
It's okay, Phil, he's just taller than you. No one's taller than me. If you're taller than me, you're compensating for something. And if you're shorter than me, that's actually allowed.
He was wrestling as a babyface, the kind of guy you're
as long as you follow me on Kick.
Normally supposed to cheer for. Instead it turned into a fucking disaster. The fans could smell a manufactured star a mile away, they hated his generic good guy persona, and the harder the WWE tried to push him,
I just don't like stereotypical good guys in any endeavor. There's no story there. There's nothing relatable. What do you mean you're just that pure of heart?
or they rebelled against him. And when Dwayne was sidelined with a knee injury, it seemed like his wrestling career was over. Instead, he came back a few months later with a completely different
6'1", Hundo P. I'm telling you, dude, anything over 6'4" is... you're cruising for a bruising. That's too tall.
Personality, playing a cocky, arrogant heel, calling himself The Rock. He shit-talked everyone around him, constantly referred to himself in the third person, and generally acted like he didn't give a shit anymore. It was an inspired decision and an instant hit, tapping into the Attitude Era that was just kicking off at the time.
Wrestling just missed me, bro. I was too busy Googling boobs to get one-shotted by the WWE. And if you tell a wrestling fan that, they're like, oh my god.
And in the space of a few months, he went from one of the most hated wrestlers in the business to one of its most iconic superstars. He seemed to have a keen sense of what people wanted from him and the ability to reshape his persona to suit it. Keep that in mind, dear viewer, because it will be important later. Things were going great in the WWE, but Dwayne's aspirations extended way beyond the wrestling ring. Just like Hulk Hogan before him, he wanted to get into the movie business, and after playing the bad guy in 2001's The Mummy Returns, he landed...
It's crazy, he is naturally way more muscular and leaner now in his 50s. Yeah, it's wild. He must have dialed his diet and hydration routine. He only drinks Terramana tequila, self-sponsored, and has his cheat meals after his heavy workouts in the Iron Paradise.
His first lead role in the spin-off, The Scorpion
You guys didn't hear about the second puberty that happens when you're 49 years old?
King. Dwayne turned out to be a natural on the big screen, and the movie would go on to make $180
Dude, imagine him on gear. Holy buckets.
million worldwide. Not bad for a first-time actor. Unfortunately,
Yeah, they call it trenopause.
this success wouldn't last. The next few years saw his career seesaw all over the place, doing everything from action to comedy, sports biopics to thrillers, and even Disney movies. None of it was really working though. Most of his projects either...
He just plays the same character in every single movie. All I see is The Rock. He can't play anyone else. A good actor blends in and lets the role completely take over. Robert Pattinson, Christian Bale, Leonardo DiCaprio.
flopped or barely broke even. Just like his early wrestling career,
The same old reliable muscle guy Chungus trademarked.
he couldn't quite find the persona that worked for him. Was he supposed to be a tough, no-nonsense hard man, a family-friendly comedy actor, a commercial action star, a villain, a hero? Well, the answer finally came in 2011 when he joined the Fast and the Furious franchise, which itself was going through a bit of a redemption arc after struggling for...
Like, that makes sense. I'm not even mad at that. But where is the versatility? Bro's a one-trick pony.
years to figure out what it was supposed to be. His character Luke Hobbs was an instant hit with fans, tapping into the same charismatic anti-hero persona that...
Daniel Day-Lewis is in a new movie coming out, and I'm immediately seeing it. Why? Because it's Daniel Day-Lewis. Every single role that man plays is impeccable. It is a testament to the art form itself. It's boundary pushing. It's exciting. This is the equivalent of McDonald's. I know what I'm getting every single time. I consume it and then I shit it out.
It made The Rock so popular in wrestling a decade earlier. From then on, the Dwayne Johnson hype train was...
Careful, Phil. This channel is a right-wing funnel. Oh, let me put on my soy blockers. Now it's impossible. I'll never get psyoped.
Finally running at full speed, and a wave of big-budget, highly successful action movies followed. For years, Hollywood producers had been looking for the next Arnold Schwarzenegger, the next definitive action star who would shape a whole generation of movies.
Do you think The Rock was like, oh, I could be that guy? You think there was a actual cognizant pivot to fill the shoes of Arnold?
Dwayne Johnson, it seemed they'd finally found what they were looking for. He was big and muscly, he was charismatic, he was marketable, he could navigate interviews and film junkets like a seasoned pro. He was cool enough to appeal to adults, but clean-cut and inoffensive enough to appeal to kids and families. He was somehow able to be everything to everyone and make it look easy. If Disney somehow made...
But that's the very problem. If you're appealing to everyone, then you're not all that intellectual. I can't trust you. Like, there's just so many different facets that I can measure on a personality scale where actually standing for something, where you could point to your own beliefs and your own vision that would be off-putting to some, that is where the aura lies, not the dollars.
Movie stars instead of movies, Dwayne Johnson is pretty much what they would churn out, and pretty soon, the fucking guy was literally everywhere.
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, more like Dwayne "The Bot" Johnson.
Movies, commercials, brand deals, wrestling appearances, he was always there with a tailor-made suit and $1 million smile.
He only drinks Zoa energy and Terramana and uses his body lotion.
Always excited to promote his next big project, always ready with some inspiring words, always waiting to sell you something. But problems
I hate it, bro.
were afoot, dear viewer.
The Rock, more like the slop.
First signs of trouble came with rumours about his behaviour on the Fast and the Furious movies. By all accounts, he was a dog.
I mean, maybe he just lives his life according to the wrestling ethos, which is fake.
Dominant presence on set, and not in a good way. He wasted no time reshaping the movies to benefit himself, pushing for more lines and more screen time for his own character. He apparently had a clause in his contract that says he couldn't lose a fight, and he even got into a public feud with Vin Diesel and accused him of being lazy and
He can never lose a fight. I feel like that's some dark triad traits bleeding through into real time. I'll never lose a fucking fight on screen.
entitled and a complete pussy to work with.
I mean, the only thing I sell you guys actually has value, and it's the best soap in the world, Cheeky. Use cheeky.com/Philion for 10% off, plus free shipping to the US.
Naturally, this didn't gel too well with his smiling, easygoing public persona, and when he started taking heat for this post, he soon deleted it. Keep that.
Same with Jason Statham too. He can't lose either. Why? What the fuck? They just jerk off to themselves while they're watching their own action movies? Oh, fuck yeah. Oh, I'm so good at fighting.
One in mind too, because the theme of Dwayne retreating from a position the moment he senses it could harm his image would become a bit of a theme in the years ahead. The idea of him being a
I don't mind Rock shilling he's playing a character you don't know shit about him personally. That may be true, but I think that's the problem people have. He's always in character. They want to like The Rock, but they only know this. The muscle chungus. He plays the same character in every movie, and it's not himself.
an asshole on set would really come up during the filming of Red 1, where apparently he'd routinely
Dude, this face is burned into my mind. Because in every single poster, he's hitting the Chad face.
routinely show up late for filming with no explanation or apology. And I don't just mean 30 or 40 minutes late, I mean 7 or 8 hours. Jesus, that's basically an entire working day for normal people. These
That face is exactly what's cooking in my mind.
constant delays pushed back the schedule by weeks and added about $50 million to the film's budget. The weirdest thing about all this though was the piss story. Rather than just going to the bathroom to take a leak like a normal person, Dwayne insisted on pissing into plastic bottles right there on set and handing them off to the crew to deal with.
Honestly, pretty based. He's strapped with the piss jugs. That's a power move.
Like, imagine that for a second. Imagine it's your first time on a film set, you're all excited about being part of the magic of movie making, and instead you find yourself hauling a leaky bottle filled with some asshole's urine. But that was only the beginning of Dwayne's problems. People were beginning to notice things about all those big budget action movies he'd been churning out over the years. He was basically playing the same fucking character in everything he did. Same personality, same general character arc, even the same clothes half the time. His movies were starting to be seen as the McDonald's Happy Meals of the film world, experienced by millions of people
I literally said that. Is my IQ that high?
worldwide, but completely homogenous and forgettable. What had started out as charming and marketable was quickly becoming tiresome and predictable. The other thing people were realizing about Dwayne was that he lies. A lot. Often about the weirdest
The whole population disappeared and only one word was scratched into a tree. Zoatoin. That is such a deep cut. I'd be surprised if 4 people even got that reference. You already know what your boy did, though.
Fucking things, like how many calories he eats per day, or claiming that he was visiting In-N-Out Burger for the first time. 3 different times. Like, why would you even make something like that up in the first place? Who even gives a shit if you go to a burger restaurant? On the subject of stuff that Dwayne was putting into his body though, people were also starting to get a bit suspicious about his physique. Despite the fact that he was hurtling towards 50, he seemed to be getting bigger and more muscular with each passing year.
It's just hard work. Eat big to get big. Dude, think about it. He's got a personal chef making him the best pancakes in the world. You're just not capable of keeping up with The Rock. At best, you can maybe be considered a marble. It's a tiny little metamorphic sandstone.
And well, people were not buying it anymore. Allegations of steroid abuse were running wild.
It's just polymorphisms.
The more he tried to play it down, the more they seemed to ramp up. Now, remember what I told you about Dwayne tailoring his persona to
There might be something in the syrup.
match the situation? That kind of thing definitely worked in the early days of his career when nobody was around to fact check him, but in the days of the internet and social media...
Look at this human being, bro. That's just Samoan genetics right there.
Well, people were beginning to realize that instead of having his own opinions about stuff, he basically just said whatever he thought people wanted to hear. And if he got any kind of pushback, he'd immediately fold like a house of cards.
This is a huge problem. A lot of people run into it. When you try to appeal to everyone, you actually appeal to no one. Because the second that you're hard-pressed or forced to make a single opinion, you crumble. You stand for nothing.
And backtrack. The worst example was probably his Joe Rogan interview in 2023, where he basically spent 3 hours giving
Project Rock. Gratitude to all those who have served and are serving. The real hardest workers in the room. It's his logo, the American flag logo, and Under Armour. Buddy, this is like Joe Rogan putting himself in the same picture frame row of the comedy greats of all time. This is stolen valor.
evasive answers and reflecting the questions back at him. It was like Dwayne was the one doing the fucking interviewing, and it all fed into the public perception that nothing about the guy was real. He was more like a brand than a person. His every public appearance and sentiment carefully stage managed for maximum financial impact. All was not well on the wrestling side of things either. See,
Under Armour goes hard though, that's what I'm saying. US flag goes hard, Under Armour goes hard, The Rock does not go hard.
ever since his jump to Hollywood, Dwayne had kept one foot in the wrestling business as a kind of part-time superstar. Anytime one of his movies flopped or he needed a bit of a career boost, he'd retreat back to the WWE for another run, make a ton of money, and then leave
The Rock is actually soft.
again. That strategy had been working pretty well until he showed up in 2024 and shoved his way into the middle of a long-running feud between Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns. The fan backlash was so extreme that the WWE actually had to rewrite the whole storyline and put Cody back in center stage where he belongs. In typical fashion, Dwayne would later claim that the whole thing was part of a grand plan to make Cody even more popular.
Remember, you could always beat Rock with paper.
Think I can smell shite.
Fuck off, Dwayne. Everyone could see him for exactly what he was now, an aging superstar trying to hold on to the spotlight beyond his time, even if it meant...
Speaking of wrestling, did you see the no-kidding assault on a wrestler by Rampage Jackson's son? That should be a ban, bro. Are you questioning my ability as a streamer extraordinaire to cover slop and news and breaking stories as they're coming out in real time? We uploaded it the same day. If you miss a stream, you will see it uploaded. That's how goated we are. Of course, nothing gets past my 3 eyes.
screwing over younger and more deserving people.
Did I see the video? It's already packed and shipped. It's already ranked a 1 out of 10. It's already generating ad revenue.
Oh. The biggest disaster though was 2022's Black Adam, which was supposed to be Dwayne his big entry into the superhero genre.
Guys, I said it in the past, I'll say it again. I want this channel to be like a 24-hour 7-Eleven. It's a convenience store. At your convenience, you can come in and get whatever you want. Maybe it's a slow rotating glizzy. Maybe it's some absolutely cracked and dialed water. Maybe it's a donut. I don't know. But we have it all. You don't like one video? Guess what? There will be another one in 9 to 12 hours.
He'd made no secret of the fact that he was taking control of the DCEU and reshaping it with himself at the center, that he was going to
No bots, no reruns, just sweat equity.
do for DC what he'd done for the Fast and the Furious franchise and rehabilitate it.
Yes, I can definitely smell shite.
Well, that didn't work. The movie flopped big time, and Black Adam was quickly buried along with the rest of the DCEU. The Rock's big push into the superhero genre was over.
See, I don't watch soy movies. Black Adam. I know a lot of Marvel Funko Pop collectors who were pissed at this movie. What happened? You didn't have the chops. It wasn't good. It flippity flopped. Why didn't Black Adam pop off? It seems like he tried to do the Robert Downey Jr. playbook. Tried to get that Marvel bag.
Before it even began. But that didn't stop Dwayne from desperately trying to cope about
Cape shit fatigue.
it, claiming that the movie was actually a success if you looked at it the right way.
Really?
Yeah, sure, buddy. Losing hundreds of millions of dollars
He was trying to fight Superman even though his enemy is Shazam!
and nuking an entire franchise is a pretty loose definition of success. And so we find ourselves in the year of our Lord 2025, where Dwayne Johnson has gone from the king of the Hollywood box office to
Why is he always bald? Can he not grow any hair? That's uncalled for, dude. You're Norwood checking him? That's insane.
a star in decline and a cautionary tale. He really is a perfect example of having too much of a good thing, that trying to please everyone ultimately ends up satisfying no one, and at the end of the day, all the fame and success in the world is no substitute for authenticity. I don't think he's a bad guy necessarily, and he's clearly done a lot of good things with his life and career. He just became so intoxicated by his larger-than-life persona and his desperate need to appeal to absolutely everyone, that in the end it
Do you think there's a tiny person in his brain moving the gears? And this is just a meat suit?
have consumed him. So what's next for The Rock? Is he gonna bounce back, pivot and find a new path to success, or fade away into movie obscurity? Well, his upcoming film The Smashing Machine seems to signal a move away from generic big budget action slop, and maybe a willingness to take on more challenging roles that play against type, so who knows? The world does love a good redemption arc, and I don't think he's burned all of his bridges with audiences yet.
I mean, there is a lesson in here. We could all channel about 10% of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and chase that bag, you know what I'm saying? I mean, bro made it. Let's be honest. But did he lose himself in the process? Oh, that's a Faustian deal. A devil's bargain I'm not willing to wager.
But if there's one thing to take away from all this, perhaps it's time for him to stop being The Rock and finally start being Dwayne Johnson. If he can do that, perhaps there's still a way back for him. Anyway, that's all I've got for today. Go away now.
Wait, wait, before you leave. Go to kick.com/Philion. Follow the stream. The Daily Schmovement.